Hey, it's Jason from Fox Tree Creations in my bedroom shop. And today I decided I would check out that Ultrafeed from Sailrite that I unboxed. I wanted to see what it was like compared to hand stitching. And I'll tell you what, can you tell a difference between which one is machine stitched and which one is hand stitched? It's kind of tricky. It looks nice, so I'll tell you that. So stay tuned, keep an eye out on this video, and hey, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, awesome. Well, hey guys, today is the day. I finally get the chance. I have this beautiful LS set up and ready to go. We're going to talk about it, and I'll give you a good review as far as what I think of this machine. But I'm also going to do some hand stitching, and we're going to compare the two. And so first we're going to hand stitch. So I got my pieces ready to hand stitch right here. And then we're going to machine stitch the same exact thing and compare the two and see if we can tell the difference. So hold on to your seat, and what we're going to do is get started. All right. All right, guys. So for this to take place, what I use is my wax thread. This is actually tiger thread. It's the best thread I've been able to find whenever it comes to hand stitching. It's amazing. I also like to use neat's foot oil. I usually put that on my leather before I sew it. It just makes it a little softer, easier to work with. And of course, my needles and my nippers. So first we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply neat's foot oil on the leather. All right, and I just get these handy dandy little paper towels here. Put some neat's foot oil on them. And then just rub it in. What this does is it darkens the leather and it makes it really nice, soft. Makes it a little easier to handle and work with. That's all. So I rub it in real good on each piece. And don't be afraid to use this, guys. It's a really good stuff. And I've also found the more you put on, the better it tends to get and look. Just be sure to rub it in real nice. And take your time. Now, you may not have this neat's foot oil around. I've heard of some people using mink oil. That's another good one. I've actually heard some people use olive oil. It's different, but I bet it works just as well. I haven't never tried it. Now, with hand stitching, one thing to remember is the amount of thread you need to use. Basically, what you want to do is you need to get the length of your stitch. So you figure out how much the length of the stitch is. Just a rough guesstimate, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. All right, so you get your length, and I multiply this by 5. Some will tell you 4, some say 6. I have found 5 to be enough to give me extra thread at the end, but not a lot extra. And so I generally go by 5 times, unless it's thick. If it's like 2 8 to 9 ounce pieces or thicker, then you might want to go times 6 or more. You just kind of have to go by that. But I found that times 5 is a general good rule of thumb. So basically there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and here's 5. And that should be enough thread to stitch this card wallet. You take your needle and you thread one end. You bring it around and you stab it like so. pull it all the way through. And you do the same thing at the other end. Put thread through the needle, bring it around, you stab it, and then you pull it all the way through. And that's how you get your thread ready. And so now what I do is I get my holes lined up, and then I get my stitching pony. All right, guys, I've got my card wallet in the stitching pony. And so what I like to do is I like to start in this second hole right here. And all will make sense here in just a second. It's also not a bad idea to have a pair of pliers handy, just in case. So what I do is I get this thread and I pull it to center. So I just basically put my needles together and pull till it's equal. I'm left-handed, so my left side is the side I'm going to start on, and then my right side is the side that I rest. So first I'm going to put the needle through this hole, and I'm going to put this needle through this hole. From there you pull tight, and then we go back. And that creates a good back stitch. And you pull tight. And you just keep going until you reach the end. Alright guys, so now we're at the end of the stitch, and now it's time to do a little bit of back stitching. So what I always do is I always go back one full stitch and then do half one. So I go back a full stitch and then half a stitch. And that's where I cut, and it is done, guys. And that is hand stitching. Alright guys, now we're ready to do the machine sewing. So similarly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put neat's foot oil on the leather, soften it up, get it ready to go. Get it as evenly as possible so that it gets all the way soaked in. All right, and one thing that I am going to do differently is this one I'm going to glue. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these sides together. So I've got my water-based adhesive here. And I'm just going to put a thin line on here. And this is water-based contact cement so that it doesn't stink because, well, in case you haven't noticed, my shop is also my bedroom. And my wife has a very sensitive nose. So I have to be careful on the smells that I bring in here while I'm working. Someday I'll have my own shop and then the smells won't so much matter. But right now I do have to take that into consideration. So I just draw that little bead of glue and I spread it real good here. And we're going to let that sit. I'm going to glue this right here. And I just need to let that sit so I can get tacky. Get some of this excess. It's cleaned up a little bit. We're going to line this up a little bit. And then we're going to rough it up a little bit right about here. And we're going to run another bead of glue. Get the bottom lined out. And that's that. It's all glued together. And I'll let that sit for a minute. Alright guys, now that it has been glued, I'm going to mark a line so that I have a line to follow with the sewing machine. So I'm going to take my compass here and I'm just going to mark my line, my stitch line here. That way, I have a line to follow. All right, so now it's time to go to the sewing machine. All right, guys, here we are. We're at the sewing machine, and I'm just trying to get everything lined up. Of course, be sure to put that pressure foot down to make sure everything's going to line up. I'm going to try that. Now, what I like about this sewing machine is I can turn it down a little bit. So I want it to go real slow for the start. So be sure and just take these threads, hold them back. All right. And now I want to go back and do a back stitch. Now I'm going to go forward again. And we just want to make sure that we stay on that line. And so you don't have to do anything. The walking feet pushes the leather on through. So you just need your hand here, your hands on there to guide it, to keep it on the line. Okay, now I want to go real slow because I'm getting close to this curve. All right, so with it in there, I'm going to lift it and turn just a hair. Put it back down. All right, we're just going to keep going. And now I'm going to back stitch. And that should do it, guys. So let's take a look and see what this looks like in the end. All right, so that is what it looks like. I would say any issues you see are still user errors. I'm still getting used to it. But all in all, I don't think it's too bad. I just have a little bit more practice to get in. So that does it. All right, guys, you guessed it. This is our hand stitched. And this is our machine stitched. Pretty nice, aren't they? So if you happen to want a card wallet, you can definitely go on my website. Link will be down in the description below. Also, I did do a unboxing for the Sailrite Ultrafeed. I will also include that in one of these directions over here, that you can take a look at that video in case you need to. So until next time, always remember, something good is going to happen to you today. Something good is going to happen to me today. All right. Shock face. Until next time, this is Jason from Fox Trade Creations. You have a good day. All right.